Hey everyone, and welcome. We're always hearing about artificial intelligence, right? But have you ever stopped to wonder how it actually works? How does an AI go from just a bunch of data to making a genuinely smart decision? Well, that's what we're going to dig into. We're going to follow an AI from its very first day of school all the way to graduation to see exactly how it's done.
It really all boils down to this one simple truth. You could have the most powerful, most complex program ever written, but if it has no data, it's just an empty box. This is the bedrock of pretty much all modern AI.
The easiest way to wrap your head around this is to picture an AI as a student. And just like any student, before they can learn a single thing, they need their books, right? They need their study materials. Well, for an AI, all of that comes from one place: data. So what is this data we're talking about? It's literally the raw information we feed the machine. Think of it as the fuel for the entire learning engine. And look, without high-quality relevant data, the AI has absolutely nothing to go on, nothing to analyze, nothing to learn from, and no way to spot the patterns it needs to become intelligent. And this fuel can be, well, just about anything you can think of. We're talking millions of lines of text from books, a sea of images to learn what a cat looks like, countless hours of video, sound waves for recognizing your voice. Heck, it could even be temperature readings from a tiny sensor. If it can be recorded, you can bet it can be data for an AI. Okay, so our AI student has its textbooks, it's got the data. Now what? Well, it needs a brain to actually process all of that info, and it needs a method for how to study. In the world of AI, that's where models and algorithms come into play. The model, that's the structure. You can think of it like a neural network, this incredibly complex mathematical framework that's going to hold all the knowledge. It's basically the brain, just sitting there waiting to be filled up with information and connections. Now, if the model is the brain, then the algorithm is the study plan. It's the set of instructions, the rules that tell the model how to learn from all that data. It's the whole process of reading, making connections, and slowly adjusting its own understanding. And this is what you really need to get. The algorithm is the active part here. It's what guides the model, telling it how to tweak all its little internal connections, its parameters, again and again and again, getting a tiny bit better each time at spotting patterns and making the right call. It's really the difference between just having a brain and actually using it to learn something. So, just like us, our AI student can go to different schools with totally different teaching styles. There are three main ways an AI can learn, and each one has a really unique approach. And these three methods are really fascinatingly different. First up, you've got supervised learning. This is like having a teacher who gives you an answer key for every question. You use this when you know exactly what you're looking for, like training an AI to spot spam by showing it thousands of emails already labeled spam or not spam. Then there's unsupervised learning. Here, the AI is more like a detective. You just give it a giant pile of unlabeled data and say, find something interesting. This is great for discovering hidden patterns, like grouping your customers based on their buying habits. And finally, there's reinforcement learning. This is where the AI becomes an adventurer. It learns through pure trial and error, getting points for good moves and penalties for bad ones. It's how AIs get so incredibly good at playing complex games. All right, so we know that different schools our AI can go to, but what does a semester actually look like for our AI student? Let's walk through the whole journey, from the first day in the classroom to landing its first real-world job. The journey really has three clear steps. First is the training phase. This is like the late-night study sessions, where the model just grinds through data, trying to find those important patterns. Then comes the validation and testing. This is the final exam. You give the model brand new data it has never, ever seen before to check if it actually learned the concepts or if it just memorized the answers. And finally, you have inference. This is graduation day. The trained, tested model is now ready to be put out in the real world to start making decisions. And this gets to the entire point of the whole process. The goal isn't just for the AI to get an A+ on this stuff it already studied. The real test of intelligence for AIs and for us is being able to take what you've learned and apply it correctly to brand new situations. It's all about getting it right on the data it's never seen before. So the AI graduated, it's out in the world. But the story doesn't end there. Not even close. For a lot of AI systems, the learning process never really stops. And this is where things get really interesting.
See, unlike a textbook that gets printed once and that's it, the world is always changing. So the best AI systems are built to be lifelong students. They keep learning, they keep updating their own understanding as they see new information and get feedback on how they're doing, constantly making their knowledge better.
But this brings us to a huge and maybe the most important question in all of AI. We've established that everything an AI knows comes from its data, its textbooks. So what happens if those textbooks are biased or incomplete or just flat out wrong? The answer is really simple and incredibly direct. Garbage in, garbage out. If you train an AI on skewed or prejudiced data, it's going to learn skewed and prejudiced patterns. It's inevitable. I mean, if it only ever sees pictures of golden retrievers, it might fail to recognize any other kind of dog. Its entire view of the world is shaped by the data we give it. The quality of what goes in directly determines the quality of what comes out. And that leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. If these systems are always out there, constantly learning and evolving based on new data they encounter in the world, it really forces us to ask, who and what is it learning from right now? And what could that mean for all of us?